Hey there, we're Krystal and Eric, corporate remote workers, Airbnb photographers, and now full-time van lifers. We like traveling off the beaten path and finding hidden gems along the way. If you like that too, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more. And come along with us today as we post a video every day for our first 30 days in the van.
Hello and welcome to another Wisdom Wednesday Van Life Edition.
Woohoo, part 3!
Today we're going to be talking about how to drive in New York City and Long Island, which honestly should just be a part of New York City. It's really weird to me that it's not. We have spent a lot of time lately in New York, both before van life and now after van life. In between those two things, we tried to get all the tips we could on how to drive our van in New York City, in Long Island. And when you go to Google and you search for those things, the literal only advice that comes up is don't do it.
And we're here to tell you that that is old news, baby. You should and could go.
And you will after we give you some of the best tips, having just come back from an extended weekend in Long Island and a day in New York City in our van.
So the two main issues that you will face are the height clearances and the traffic.
The height clearance is going to be a huge problem whether you're driving through New York City or Long Island. There's a lot of bridges and a lot of tunnels to get in and out of Manhattan. All of those bridges and tunnels come with height clearance. Now on Long Island, no matter what your height is, you're probably going to experience the height clearance issue. Even us being at around 9 feet, we still have some overpasses that we are not able to get under. Some of the overpasses are as low as 710 clearance, which I think cancels out pretty much anything that counts as a motorhome, and maybe even some trucks out there.
So now that you're aware of the height clearance issue, there are a few ways that you can mitigate that. Firstly being the Road Trippers app. Now this is an app, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna...
Oh, it's our Long Island friend. Hi, Alicia.
Congrats on the marriage.
It's like a genie in a bottle. Like you say Long Island 3 times and she'll text you.
The first resource being the Road Trippers app. Now this is a paid app, has a navigational functionality. It is in beta and it does not make any promises that it is completely up to date with the most current height information, but it is a really good resource to tip you off to any potential height clearance issues that you might have along the route.
And the app itself is only like $35 for the entire year, and it comes with a 7-day trial. So it is nice to just download it and try out the features, put in the height of your motorhome and see if it's something that is going to work for you. We did the trial and we were going to Long Island that weekend and we found it so valuable that we ended up paying for the whole year, and we really liked the experience.
After you've plotted your route in Road Trippers, always good to cross-reference it against Google. They're gonna have the height clearance if you Google for all the major points of interest, like the George Washington Bridge or what have you. Always good to double check on Google, just for a peace of mind. And then lastly, follow the signs. What I was surprised with, I think most, was that the height clearances were in bright shiny lights. Like they really want you to know what the height clearance is if it's going to be particularly small. They'll tell you once, they'll tell you twice, they'll be flashing lights. Just pay attention and you won't have any issues with height clearance. Another tip, just stay on the Long Island Expressway. Simply remembered as 495 for trucks. Easy to remember. That way you don't ever run into an overpass.
Yeah. The second issue that you will most definitely encounter in New York City and in Long Island is going to be the traffic. As one of the biggest cities in the world, you are definitely going to experience traffic, whether you are going in or out of the city, any of the boroughs, and including Long Island. And actually, I think the traffic is probably worst in Long Island.
There are two main tips for dealing with the New York City traffic. First and foremost, leaving early. It's worth it. By leaving between 5 and 5:30 every time we need to drive into New York City, we beat most of the main traffic that you would have to deal with. That has made the experience a lot more enjoyable for us by just planning appropriately and biting the bullet, getting up early. Extra coffee that day, maybe a mid-morning nap, but it's worth it. And then patience is a virtue. There's gonna be people all over the place. And maybe they're not even following the rules. Me and him, we're sharing this lane, me and this guy. You can just ride side by side in the same lane in New York. It's fun, everybody's sharing. That's what's going on. The only thing that you need to do is keep your calm. If someone wants to get ahead of you and they're risking everything to do so, let them do it. You're gonna get there eventually. The more patient than you can be and de-stress yourself, then the more enjoyable of a trip that you're gonna have.
Something that took me a while to get used to about the traffic in New York City is getting beeped at, because you will definitely get beeped at. What we've learned after driving a lot through New York City in both our car and our van is that when there's people beeping all around, like, you can't take it personally. At first you kind of want to be like, what did I do? What am I doing wrong? But chances are you're probably not doing anything wrong and someone just likes to beep. It's kind of the culture there, and it's kind of fun when you embrace it as well.
They're talking to you. It's fun. Hi. That's what they're saying. Hi. Let's be friends.
One final thing worth mentioning is that if you are a comfortable driver, this will not be an issue for you, despite what people on the internet have to say about it. However, if you are more of an anxious driver or a timid driver, this probably is not the experience you want to have, even if it is possible to do. There are other routes into Long Island. Long Island was a fantastic place for us to van life around, and it is really beautiful. Take the ferry from Connecticut. That's a super popular route, and it is an option, so you don't have to go through the city. You still have to deal with the overpasses and the traffic, but cutting out New York City and maybe an oopsie wrong turn down Times Square is not in your future if you choose to take the ferry, which might be comforting to some out there.
Plus, you get to take your van on a boat.
You want to take it on a boat so bad.
It's like the #1 thing I want to do. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope you have a really good time on Long Island in New York City, driving, especially one of my favorite activities in the entire world.
That's not sarcasm. He's being serious, by the way.
I love it so much. I did film a video of me driving it in New York City. You can see my genuine excitement in this link up here. Subscribe and like this video. We have a lot more van life stuff coming. We're about halfway through, maybe even further.
Or more.
We're more than halfway
This
through
is the
our
third.
30 days of daily vlogging for van life. So we'll see you in the next one. It's good to see you.
See you in the next one.